All right, everyone, welcome back. Another team game. This time we're going to be taking a look at a 3v3. Team number one, we do have the blue Zerg player, Bed Intruder. Oh, that's fantastic. The red Terran player, one other, and then the teal Terran player, Kangaroo Ups. The opposing team, we have got a Terran double Zerg, Micro Sung, as the purple Terran player, the orange Zerg, Lament Death, and then the yellow Zerg, Micro Boss. These names are fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite things about team games is the names, and I would say so far, Bed Intruder wins. Hands down. He's climbing in your windows. All right, so yeah, gonna be pretty awesome. We have got a double Terran Zerg versus a double Zerg Terran team game. This is 3v3 Masters level, and I've mentioned this before. Thursdays are team games. If you are a Masters level player in any team games, twos, threes, or fours, please feel free to send me those games at force@forcestrategygaming.com, and you may see your game commentated here on Thursdays. To keep an eye as to what kind of shenanigans are going down, we have a 10 pool here from Lament Death as well as Micro Boss. Double 10 pool. What is this Zerg player doing over here? Looks like he did the same thing. 10 pool actually very solid, especially in threes games. This one in particular, because the maps are a little bit basically the bases here. The player in this position for this team and the player in this position for this team, very vulnerable, and that's a big concern. I mean, specifically looking at Micro Sung here, base wide open. Now that could partially be due to the fact that he's got two Zerg players on his team, so he's figuring that they will help him defend his base, and he will not necessarily have to wall off against just one Zerg player. Extractor for all of the Zerg players right now working their way up, likely, of course, to that metabolic boost early on. We have Kangaroo Ups moving across right now to Scout, and actually Micro Sung coming down with the proxy racks over here, so he will be going for some early aggression here. Obviously, we will be seeing some early Marine aggression for the Terran player, and then the double Zergs will, of course, be getting those 10 pools as we saw. So Speedling Marine aggression very early on here, and let's see how effective that manages to be. Again, we do have a 10 pool from Bed Intruder. Looks like we've got a double racks over here from one other, and also double racks from Kangaroo Up. So two Terran players going Marine heavy versus one Zerg 10 pooling, and then one Terran player going Marine heavy versus two Zergs 10 pooling. Let's see which team does prevail here. The mass amount of Zerglings certainly will be effective, and I'm actually really concerned for our blue Zerg player over here, Bed Intruder. As a result, too, realizing that he is in a very vulnerable position, we can see Bed Intruder coming out with that Spine Crawler. Now, we do have the first wave of Zerglings coming over here for our double Zerg Terran team, and they will likely be going straight for that Zerg player's base. That is what is expected here. And also coming down, with the bunker at the bottom of the ramp, so Micro Sung will be trying to hold off this double Terran team from pushing forward with any sort of aggression, but he needs to defend this bunker from getting built. At the same time, Zerglings moving right into Bed Intruder's base, and the Zerglings will be trying to stop and protect those Spine Crawlers as much as possible, let those get in so they'll be nice and safe. And unfortunately, the bunker was canceled over here. Looks like the blue and red Terran player did manage to force that cancel. We have one Marine streaming on down. It looks like the double Zerg players will be first targeting the teal Terran player's base, and actually no retreat right now, deciding to check out the red Terran player's base. But since both have a bunker, this is going to be a little more difficult for them to actually pull off. Now, we do have the Marines that will be attempting to drop this supply depot. I would like to see one other push out, kill off those Marines, and then actually just waltz right back to his base. The proxy racks still in place, nice and safe right now. Not bothering, though, actually. We'll be just coming out with a bunker and trying to add to his wall. The fact that one other is letting this die off, though, I'm a little bit concerned about that. Now, Bed Intruder still sitting in his base. He is also coming out with a Baneling Nest. If he gets some Banelings in play, that'll certainly be very solid. And there we go with the bunker down. The Speedlings will be pushing right on in, and one other is in a little bit of trouble right now. He's got Speedlings and Marines in his main base. We got some Marines over here from Kangaroo Up taking out the Marines of Micro Sung. Also, we've got some more Speedlings streaming on down, but unfortunately the Marine count a little bit too heavy. And although he let the Zerglings in his base, looks like one other has managed to defend himself with the assistance of Kangaroo Ups. Bed Intruder still sitting pretty safely over here. I don't believe we've seen any sort of counter aggression. I'm pretty sure Bed Intruder has just been sitting with what he has right now, and he was working his way up again to those Spine Crawlers as well as those Baneling Nests. Would really like to see him push out at some point, but still hasn't happened quite as of yet. He has lost a little bit, losing actually 600 resources from that initial push that we saw from the double Zerg team. Now, purple Terran as well as the orange and yellow Zerg still staged right outside of the double Terran's base here. The red one other and the Kangaroo Ups. Now, Kangaroo Ups looks to be teching up right now, coming out with another Rax over here as well. Any other sort of shenanigans going on? Do have 2 racks being built over here. It looks like a second refinery coming out over here for Kangaroo Ups and another proxy racks down here for Microsung. Now, my big concern here is that Micro Boss and Lament Death, as well as Microsung, really need to start doing some damage because the double Terran, the red and teal Terran, are starting to tech up, and that's going to be a big cause for concern. Again, their major focus will be the Zerg play. We do have some Banelings here. Needs to be very careful about engaging with those Banelings because both the Marines and the Speedlings are very susceptible to that. A Queen needs to be careful pulling on back. You do not want to lose that Queen. Obviously, very, very vital. Banelings trying to dance around, trying to catch up those Marines as well as those Speedlings, if at all possible. Bed Intruders looking to be, again, in a very vulnerable position, losing the Queen. That gets sniped down, and the Baneling, unfortunately, didn't do too much damage. Bed Intruder really needs to come out with a little bit more right now. He's got no Banelings to defend himself, and realizing this, the Speedlings will be swooping right on in. We do have a Baneling, couple of Banelings getting warped into it. Would any of them manage if they can complete right now and pop? But no, it doesn't look like that happens. Getting sniped down. This Baneling just about to finish, but no, that gets taken out as well. And Bed Intruder looks like he is going to be out of the game right now. Just a massive push. That's a big problem. If they're 2 Zerg opponents, a single Zerg player, especially if he's segregated, sequestered like away from the rest of his team, he's in a lot of trouble. As you can see here, just two Zerg players worth of Speedlings plus a few Marines in your base. That's almost impossible to defend as a sole individual. And you know, one other and Kangaroo Ups obviously didn't push out, but they would, even if they tried, they would have had a very difficult time pushing out because Speedlings quite easily are able to surround. So as a result, the blue Zerg player is pretty much out of the game right now. We have a couple of drones actually trying to mine over here, although they've got no hatchery to bring that back to. So right now, Micro Boss, Lament Death, as well as Microsung do just have to focus here on the double Terran team. Now, we've got heavy bio coming out from both players right now, and they're actually just sticking with that, not teching up at all. The factory or star power tech just will be working with that heavy bio. They are getting some upgrades. We do see the Stim Pack and Combat Shield just about finished. We also have Stim Pack, Combat Shield, a Stim Pack finished over here for one other, and Combat Shield working its way out next. And actually, oh, Bed Intruder losing his drones over here. He could have gotten some resources from some of his allies to rebuild his hatchery, but spotting that out, Lament Death moving on over, killing off the rest of the drones, and yeah, he's pretty much completely out of the game right now. So Bed Intruder dumping all of his resources to his allies, and that about does it. So right now it is a 2v3 with Bed Intruder out of the game and just the double Terrans bunkered up in their base, and hopefully they do start to move out. Looks like they had just been waiting until they got their upgrades, trying to put themselves in a strong position. As we can see here, Microsung, no upgrades, just now getting a tech lab on one of his racks. No Combat Shield, no Stim Pack, nothing like that. So this is concerning because we have a big bio push coming out right now. I don't see any Banelings here either for the double Zerg team, Lament Death and Micro Boss, and this is a very strong bio push. We'll be moving out for a counterattack right now. They do need to make sure that they are able to defend their main base while they're pushing out with this. Those Speedlings still very, very threatening. Do any of these Zerg players, there we go, we've got a Roachhorn coming out over here, also Roachhorn over there for Microsung, but we've got a lot of Marauders in place. I don't think that would really matter. Would have really liked to see some Banelings. That would have helped quite a bit, although obviously one other and Kangaroo Ups could have just used some proper micro and they would have been able to stay away from that. But still, a little bit concerned right now because it looks like this heavy bio counterattack could manage to do quite a bit of damage. We see Bed Intruder and Bed Intruder's Overlord moving over here to get a little bit of scouting information. He wants to check exactly what Lament Death is going for. We do have a Baneling Nest finally coming into play. That may be a little bit late, though. I'm really worried about the purple Terran player's base. He's got nothing to deal with this. Only a few Speedlings sitting over here, and this is not looking good right now. Microsung doesn't have any sort of defense. He will be losing those racks so very quickly. Also losing this engineering bay. He does have a floating racks over here, but that will get taken out once it finishes burning. You can see that working its way on down right now. Losing his command center as well. He will lose all of his SCVs, and right now it is now even at 2v2. We do have Lament Death doing a proper thing, moving out and trying to kill off any reinforcements. That's actually exactly what you want to do. Just wants to make sure he pulls away right now before he walks right into that giant bio army. There we go. Pull on back. There we go, finally pulling back. We got a lot of Banelings pushing on in. It's really going to come down to this big engagement. We do need those Banelings to go straight for those Marines. We do have those Marauders forming a line, trying to protect those Marines, if at all possible. A few Speedlings streaming on down. He's losing a few of those Banes, but here we go. Orange player moving on forward to engage. The Banelings move forward as well, but they're walking straight into Marauders. They do need to go for those Marines. And there we go, lots of damage, but they're still quite a hefty amount of bio left, and the double Terran team right now will be pushing up into Lament Death's base, and Lament Death is now looking to be in trouble, and this is not looking good for the double Zerg Terran team. But we have a couple of Banelings pushing forward as well as those drones, and if he can do enough damage, this could get them back in the game. The drones doing what they can, but still a little left of that bio, sniping down the Baneling nest now, so Lament Death will not be coming out with any more Banelings. It's really all got to come down to Micro Boss right now if he can manage to take out this army. A big concern, though, is both Kangaroo Ups and one other have been unhindered as far as resource gathering has been concerned. And it looks like Lament Death is about to lose his hatchery, if not a few of his drones. So I do not think that just Micro Boss will be able to actually fend this off. Very, very nice here. I'm really surprised, actually, the turn of events that did take place. Kangaroo Ups and his ally here have been doing a really good job with that counterattack. Just very, very impressive. Again, they sat in their base, and even though they lost their blue Zerg ally, they were able to mass up enough of a force and get those upgrades to really turn the tide of this particular game. And it looks like they are, in fact, going to win the game. Lament Death just about to lose his base. Micro Boss is trying to come out with some stuff. And actually, oh, look at this. Kangaroo Up's moving down with an expansion as well. And that's going to be pretty much it, because once he gets that high yield up and running, he'll be in a very solid spot. We do have Micro Boss doing what he can, though. An expansion attempting to come out at this high yield. Relatively small force right now here for one other and Kangaroo Ups, killing off those last few drones, and now they will be re-rallying their forces likely before they move on into the yellow Zerg player's base. Right now it is a 2 versus 1, orange Zerg and purple Terran out of the game completely. I've got nothing going on whatsoever. Micro Boss will be losing an Overlord here, unfortunately, without hesitation. There we go, finally taking it out, but here come the reinforcements, and that's pretty much going to be the nail in the coffin. Now we do have quite a few Banelings, and actually Micro Boss sitting on a few resources will be coming out with a lot of spine crawlers. If he can hit the backside of this bio army with those Banelings while they're attempting to engage those spine crawlers, he could actually manage to take it out. This could actually work here for Micro Boss. It's again really going to come down to how the engagement takes place. And actually, okay, so pulling back right now, trying to make sure he's within the safety of those spine crawlers. Now those Mirage are going to take him out very quickly. We do have those Banelings moving down. Look at that heavy DPS though, and some nice micro, and just almost completely avoiding. He lost a few Marines there. Doesn't matter though, enough bio left, and Microsong calling the GG. And wow, what a game there. Very, very interesting. We saw the double Zerg players, Micro Boss and Lament Death, take out the purple Zerg very, very early, or we take out the Zerg player over here, the blue Zerg, very, very early on in the game. But the double Terran team over here with one other and Kangaroo Ups saving up their army inside of their main base, just sitting nice and tucked away, getting those upgrades, and then pushing out with that stim pack and combat shield and lots of Marauders to counteract those roaches and also to soak up some damage from those Banelings. Very interesting turn of events. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this commentary. Keep in mind, again, Thursdays will be team commentary games. If you are a Masters level player and you play in 2s, 3s, or 4s, any team games, feel free to send me those replays and you may see yours commentated here on Thursdays. Thank you as always, guys. If you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning. He's climbing in your windows, he's snatching your people up, trying to rape them, so you need to hide your kids, hide your wife, 'cause they're raping everybody out here.